सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Jai Gurudev. So we were on the 64th verse yesterday. 64th, 65th, I think. Yeah, we were doing the 64th verse, which was Ragadvesha Viyuktaistu Vishayan Indriyaischcharan Atma Vashyai Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. So this was the solution to the being Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. So given that meditating on desirable objects creates problems for you, the message of the Gita is clear. Instead of meditating upon objects, meditate upon the self. Instead of meditating upon your own problems and inhibitions, meditate upon the Pratyagatma, the inner self, because if you do not, you will naturally meditate upon the objects, which is the cause of all your problems. So this is the resounding message of the Gita. Look within and meditate upon the self. So, whereas one whose mind is controlled, moving in the world of objects, with the sense organs under his or her control, free from likes and dislikes, attains tranquility. So we saw this, how even a Viveki cannot but dwell upon objects. So, and this is the basis of all the problems that comes on later. So the natural pursuit of a person's sense organs is in keeping with his or her ragas and dveshas. But suppose the person is a seeker, for which, meaning he wants moksha, for which self-knowledge is required, then all his pursuits cannot be dictated by his raga dveshas. The word mumukshu is especially pertinent here. So basically here the The meaning of a mumukshu, what it means to be a mumukshu. So, of the four human pursuits, mumukshutva is one of them. He or she has already sought after and experienced pursuits of security, artha, and pleasure, kama, or has learned about them by observing the pursuits of others. From all these, the person has developed discrimination, viveka, and because of this viveka alone, has become a mumukshu. So he's not become a mumukshu out of just curiosity, but he has become a mumukshu out of discrimination. The one who has viveka is a mumukshu, whereas a person who is merely curious is not. The person who wants to be free must necessarily have a lot of viveka for this particular desire. At the same time, he or she does have some ragadveshas. They don't just go away because the person has viveka. What does a mumukshu do then? This was exactly Arjuna's situation, where he gets into a lot of grief when, after having listened to all the 18 chapters of the Gita, and he himself proclaims, Nashto mohaha smritir labdha tvat prasadat mayachyuta. So he says, I've lost my delusion. My delusion is cleared. So I will do as you say. But then his ragadveshas take the better of him. And that is why Krishna had to keep telling Arjuna to live. For him, it was karma yoga, was the lifestyle, not sannyasa. A karma yogi is a mumukshu. The sense organs of a mumukshu are freed from ragadveshas, meaning that they are not backed by ragadveshas, because he has been living a life of karma yoga. Such a person does not run away from the world. Where would he or she go? He goes about in the world experiencing the sense objects. The word charan here generally means reaching or going in the sense of movement, but it can also have the sense of knowledge. In fact, any verbal root that has a sense of reaching or going has also the sense of knowing or experiencing. For example, the expression reaching Brahman means understanding or knowing Brahman. There is no going or moving in the sense of reaching somewhere. The very word brahmacharya, that is moving in the Brahman, or so the root of the verb charan not just means going or reaching, it also implies knowledge or understanding. So there is no going or moving anywhere with respect to Brahman, because he is everywhere. Where would you go? So too, in this verse, charan does not mean that the person is moving around in the physical sense. The word means experiencing and takes all the sense organs into account. The experience of seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, and tasting. The senses are open and the world of sense objects is there. The verse also describes the sense organs as being in the person's hands and not in the hands of ragadveshas. So the person decides what he or she wants and is not goaded by his or her likes and dislikes. The ragadveshas do not decide. So when your ragadveshas do not come between yourself and the sense pursuits, The determining factor for the sense pursuits is purely dharma and adharma. Then you become one whose mind moves only according to your will. In other words, you are a person who is together. If we take our memory back to the previous two verses, where a person can either have his heart together or heart and mind together, because wherever the heart goes, the mind goes. Or he can have his heart scattered over in different places, including furniture and objects and people and relationships, situations. And therefore, the mind is also scattered. Whereas, such a person who has his heart and mind together is a karma yogi. So, there is no more a filter of ragadveshas. Every action of his is directed by the necessity of that action to be done and not by ragadveshas. Every karma yogi is a mumukshu. The person is a mumukshu because he or she is a mumukshu. Karma yoga is there only because the person has mumuksha, desire for liberation. Means he pursues knowledge while engaged in freeing himself or herself from the hold of ragadvesha. This latter pursuit makes the person a karma yogi and marks the difference between a karma yogi and a sannyasi. So he engages in all the worldly activities. He does not renounce the world, the karma yogi. Whereas the person is a sannyasi, whether the person is a sannyasi or a karma yogi, he or she is one who has the senses and mind together. Such a person gains tranquility or satisfaction. That is prasada. We've already seen that prasada is anything that comes from the Lord. But prasada has another meaning also: cheerfulness, satisfaction, tranquility, which is what happens in the mind of one whose sense organs are in one's own hands and one is free from the hold of ragadveshas. The satisfaction, the contentment is with oneself. The mind is steady and there is an almost total absence of agitation and self dissatisfaction. The person's knowledge is steady, sthira, and it stays. That ragadveshas are to be tackled is the whole psychology of the Gita. प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशुः बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते. We actually did this also yesterday. Prasade, when the mind is tranquil, asya, his, sarva dukkhanam, of all the pain and sorrow, hanihi, destruction, upajayate, is born. He, because prasanna chetasaha, of the tranquil minded, ashu, soon, buddhihi, knowledge, paryavatishtate, is well established. प्रसादे अस्य सर्वदुःखानां हानिः उपजायते हि प्रसन्नचेतसः आशुबुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते. When the mind is tranquil, destruction of all pain and sorrow happens because the knowledge of one who is tranquil minded soon becomes well established. One whose mind is under control directs the mind according to his or her will. Such a person experiences the world through sense organs that are not backed by likes and dislikes. In this way, the ragadveshas are neutralized and the person gains a mind which is cheerful, composed, and tranquil. So I'll read this again. So, when the mind is tranquil, destruction of all pain and sorrow happens because the knowledge of one who is tranquil minded soon becomes well established. So, for that jnana nishta to happen, this is a necessary step to have that tranquility of the mind. And how does that tranquility happen? When are your actions are based on your will and not according to your ragadveshas. One whose mind is under control directs the mind according to his or her will. Such a person experiences the world through sense organs that are not backed by likes and dislikes. In this way, the ragadveshas are neutralized and the person gains a mind which is cheerful, composed, and tranquil. For the person whose mind is tranquil, all the dukkhas, pain and sorrow are destroyed. Although the plural form of dukkhas is used here, all sorrow is the same. One person is crying because he lost the kingdom, and someone else is crying because he lost his car. What is the difference between their two sorrows? Both of them are crying. Does dukkha subject itself to division? No. Sorrow is the same, whatever the reason. Whether you lose your kingdom or your hair, the sadness is the same. What Krishna meant here is that all sorrow, whatever be its source, is destroyed for the person whose mind is tranquil. We saw earlier in the chapter that sorrow is not a it's a state of mind. It's a mindset. It's the complaining mindset. Pain is inevitable, but sorrow is suffering is optional. So even a karma yogi goes through pain, but he does not let it transform into sorrow. In the earlier discussion, we saw the three sources of sorrow: sorrow caused by people and situations in the external world, adi bhautika dukkha; sorrow caused by calamities over which you have no control, adi daivika dukkha; and finally, sorrow caused by your own body, mind, and senses, adhyatmika dukkha. Your own past memories or the condition of your physical body create adhyatmika dukkha, whereas the dukkha caused by your brother-in-law is an example of adi bhautika dukkha. Any natural calamity is adi daivika dukkha. Krishna said that these threefold dukkhas are all destroyed. Sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate. Although all dukkhas are destroyed when the mind is tranquil, the causes for dukkhas themselves do not go away. They are merely incapable of causing dukkha. The body may experience physical pain, but there will be no dukkha because the mind is tranquil, prasanna. A tranquil mind means that the ragas and dveshas have been neutralized. Desirable and undesirable situations do not cause reactions. All dukkhas are said to be destroyed because the real nature of the self is tranquility, and that tranquility is manifest in the mind. The mind is stifled only because of raga and dvesha. The fullness of the self, which is its nature, Ananda Swarupa, is inhibited from manifesting in the mind because of ragadveshas alone. The ragadveshas inhibit the fullness, Ananda. When the ragadveshas are neutralized, the Ananda is uninhibited and the mind is tranquil. Destruction of dukkha is said to be born, upajayate, here in the sense that it happens, it takes place. A tranquil mind means that knowledge is not far away. Does mere tranquility destroy all forms of dukkha? No, destruction of all dukkhas can only happen when there is self knowledge. Dukkhas go away for the person who has a tranquil mind because the knowledge for such a person is not far away. We are talking about a sthita prajna here. This knowledge, the subject matter of which is Atma, self knowledge, is steady and like space, it just stays. It does not move. The earth, air, and everything else moves, whereas space is always steady. Similarly, the mind of a person with self knowledge stays, and because the knowledge stays, the mind no longer causes any problem. The knowledge stays because there is nothing to oppose or inhibit it. This means that the very person stays in the form of knowledge. The mind of such a person becomes a useful instrument. Because the mind is tranquil, it no longer causes trouble. To gain tranquility, you have to take care of your raga dveshas. Whatever is required is what you have to follow, whether it is karma yoga or something else. Only when tranquility is there does the knowledge stay. This means that the knowledge becomes clear, having been freed from all vagueness and doubts. Otherwise, you will you will always doubt your own knowledge. You will say things like, with this kind of mind, how can I say that I know? The mind itself creates all kinds of doubts, which is the problem. I will read all this again one more time, but let me continue. The mind has to gain the tranquility that is the basis for self knowledge. And to do this, it has to free itself from the ragadveshas. Then all the dukkhas go away because the knowledge stays. Tranquility is the condition that frees one's mind, one's knowledge from all obstructions. And because of that knowledge, all forms of sorrow are gone, and the person is said to have gained moksha. Very beautiful the way it is described. So, how getting that prasanna chetasa is so important because that will establish that knowledge. Self knowledge is not far away in a person whose mind is tranquil. So, when the mind is tranquil, prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna chetasa prasanna chetaso hyashuhu buddhi paryavatishtate. When the mind is tranquil, destruction of all pain and sorrow happens because the knowledge of one who is tranquil minded soon becomes well established. One whose mind is under control directs the mind according to his or her will. Such a person experiences the world through sense organs that are not backed by likes and dislikes. In this way, the raga dveshas are neutralized and the person gains a mind which is cheerful, composed, and tranquil. For the person whose mind is tranquil, all the dukkhas, pain, and sorrow are destroyed. Although the plural form of dukkhas is used here, all sorrow is the same. One person is crying because he has lost his kingdom, another because he's lost his car. What is the difference between their two sorrows? Both of them are crying. Does dukkha subject itself to division? No. Sorrow is the same, whatever the reason. Whether you lose your kingdom or your hair, the sadness is the same. What Krishna meant here is that all sorrow, whatever be its source, is destroyed for the person whose mind is tranquil. In an earlier discussion, we saw the three sources of sorrow. What are they? Ad- Adhyatmika, that is from the person's own body, mind, senses. Adi Bhautika, this is from external sources, that is from people and situations outside of him. Third is Adi Daivika, natural calamities. Although all dukkhas are destroyed when the mind is tranquil, so Krishna said all these threefold dukkhas are destroyed. Sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate. So, when the mind is tranquil, the causes for dukkhas themselves do not go away. Although dukkhas are destroyed when the mind is tranquil, the causes for dukkhas themselves do not go away. They are merely incapable of causing dukkha. So, this is what is meant by when we say your perception changes. The world is going to be the same. The world is going to be there with its pairs of opposites, sukha and dukkha. But your perception of the world changes. So they will no longer cause that fluster in you. That yo-yo tendency is, yo-yo pattern is taken care of. Getting very elated when you get something that is pleasant and getting too depressed when something that you don't want happens. So, although all dukkhas are destroyed when the mind is tranquil, the causes for dukkhas themselves do not go away. They are merely incapable of causing dukkha. The body may experience physical pain, but there will be no dukkha because the mind is tranquil, prasanna. A tranquil mind means that the ragas and dveshas have been neutralized. Desirable and undesirable situations do not cause reactions. Such a beautiful state to be in. But even as much as you've posted a message and nobody responds to it, can unsettle one. One who is still stuck with his ragas and dveshas. There's a raga to see a lot of comments, and you don't like, people have seen but they've not commented. So that becomes dvesha for you. So that doesn't happen. So many ways in which our mind can get carried away by these raga dveshas. Whereas one who's not in the hold of raga dveshas, but
you're taking it samatva, right?
samatva. Yeah.
So that's why there is a neutralized.
Yeah.
Hmm. And the dukkha goes away, meaning also because that that samatva tendency, you don't feel that dukkha, right? That when knowledge happens, the tranquil mind.
Correct. So you
Mm.
see the link between the uh, the definition of karma yoga,
Mm.
which was yoga karma sukaushalam. That is one where you
Right.
use discretion in action.
Mm.
It's not like that person who wants to, it's not skill in action. The person who covets his neighbor's money and wants to build a tunnel, and then
Right.
he's
The
very skillful,
discretion in action.
but
Yeah.
it's discretion in action. What
Kaushalam.
is
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what is the right thing to do at that time, given that situation,
Mm-hmm.
and not get carried away by ragadveshas.
Jagadesha.
And then
Mm.
the second definition is samatvam yoga uchyate,
Mm.
which is no matter what, because the causes for dukkha are not removed. They will continue to be there. But
Mm.
you are no longer under the hold of your raga dveshas. So
Mm.
whatever is the outcome, you're taking it as prasada, and this prasada gives you this prasanna chetasa.
Mm. The right.
Prasanna cheta.
Prasanna means what it is?
Tranquil.
Tranquil. Okay. Prasanna Chetas. Tranquil mind. So can you say the word that Kaushalam word yoga? Yeah.
Yoga karmasu kaushalam
Oh, yeah, right. Yoga karma Kaushalam and
and
samat.
samatvam yoga uchyate.
Okay, uchyate. Right.
So all dukkkhas are said to be destroyed. So a tranquil mind means that the
Mm.
ragas and dveshas have been neutralized.
Yeah, the
Desirable
cause
and
is still there, but the dukkha is neutralized. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
correct,
Raga is
correct.
neutralized.
Dukkha does not sprout.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
The person does not have all dukkkhas. Sarva dukkhanam hanihi upajayate.
That's so nice, right? Sarva Dukkhanam. That's what we wanted to be of. So it just goes away itself because if you follow all these things. Sarva Dukkhanam. Mm.
See, sarva dukkhanam hanihi
Hanir.
is what
Mm.
everybody wants.
Right.
Everybody wants
Yep.
freedom from sorrow.
Exactly.
Only sad part is most of us are going towards going the wrong way, searching for that in the wrong way,
Mm.
rather than going within and
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Right. Sarva Dukkhanam Hanihi Bachayate. Hanihi Bachayate.
so
So,
although all dukkhas are destroyed when the mind is tranquil, the causes
mm,
for dukkhas themselves do not go away.
mm,
See, that is why Krishna says in the very beginning of the second chapter,
mm,
Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama payino nityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. So as long
mm.
as your sense organs get in
Right.
contact with the sense objects, there will be pairs of opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Sukha dukkha will happen. No way of escaping them. But
Mm-hmm.
therefore, you have to tam titikshasva, forbear them.
Tolerant, yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, this
Titik
forbearance again comes from samatva.
Samat.
Samatva is taking one step forward.
Mm.
You're not letting them create that fluster in you. They are merely incapable of causing dukkha. The body may experience physical pain, but there will be no dukkha because the mind is tranquil, prasanna. A tranquil mind means that the ragas and dveshas have been neutralized. Desirable and undesirable situations do not cause reaction.
Ramanaji,
Yes.
can you tell me that karmasya karya kushalam?
Karma, yoga
Karya
karma kaushalam.
yoga karma
Karmastu.
kaushalam.
Karma
Mm.
kaushalam.
Hmm. Hmm. Then
And
samatvam
samatvam yoga uchyate.
yoga uchyate. These are very good. No? These are the steps.
These are the two definitions. Actually, in the very
And,
beginning, learnt about there are three definitions for karma yoga that I put forward here. One is samatvam yoga uchyate.
hmm.
And then we saw samatva, that evenness, that equanimity can be towards what? Is it the desire, the action itself, or the result of the action? We saw that samatva can happen only with it means the result of action, because the desires are different, actions are different, but it's only with respect to results of action that you can have samatva. And then yoga karmasu kaushalam is using your free will in the right manner, using that viveka and doing what is right and not skill in action. So, yoga karma sukaushalam is generally interpreted and uh, translated as skill in action. It's not skill in action, but it is discretion in action. Discretion, how you're not, according to what we've read just now, you are not letting your action be determined by your raga dveshas. Your, your actions are determined by what is to be done at that point. If you are, for instance, a teacher in a class and your child is there in the class, if your actions and your child has done a mistake, just like how you would correct any other child's mistakes, if you're able to do the same with your own child, then you are exhibiting karmasu kaushalam. You are not under the hold of your raga. Oh, my child, how can I say this? No. That then you'll be under the hold of your raga dvesha. Whereas if you're able to stay stable and balanced and then do what is necessary at that time. A small example, but we can extrapolate this into every other action.
And I think the third might be um, karmanye vadikaraste,
That
not for me.
is a corollary of this yoga karma kaushalam and
Padan,
samatvam yoga
and
uchyate.
yeah.
This the third one is dissociation from the association from pain, that comes in chapter 6. But in
Association with association of pain. That is uh, which
that is in the 6th
um,
chapter.
um, which shloka you know it, or we'll
um,
do it, no problem.
Offhand I'm not able to remember the shloka.
Okay. I think I will do that, no problem. So no, I'm just uh, um, summarizing the karma yoga, you know.
Yeah.
So for that, I'm writing all this. We
Mm.
know it, but these are the bullet points, as you told, yoga karma sukhaushalam, really, discretion in action, and not performing the skill in action. That's a wonderful thing. Everyone interprets that skill in action,
Yeah.
and that also is needed, but in a
No, that skill
right
is not,
direction. Mm.
skill is
Mm.
actually discretion.
Yes.
That skill in action is not how effectively you do the action, how
Mm.
nicely you do it. No, it is
Mm.
not that.
Mm. Okay, that's a good one.
So, yeah. The actual meaning is ragadvesha viyuktaistu. So,
Hmm.
the fullness, all dukkhas are said to be destroyed because the real nature of the self is tranquility, and that tranquility is manifest in the mind. The mind is stifled only because of ragadvesha. The fullness of the self, which is its nature, Ananda Swarupa, is inhibited from manifesting in the mind because of ragadveshas alone. The ragadveshas inhibit the fullness, Ananda. When the ragadveshas are neutralized, the Ananda is uninhibited and the mind is tranquil. Destruction of dukkha is said to be born, upajayate, here in the sense that it happens, it takes place. See, the real nature of the self is tranquility, and that tranquility is manifest in the mind. The self is like a clean pond which is undisturbed, whereas a mind that is full of ragadveshas is like a muddy pond. There is no tranquility there. But once all the ragadveshas are neutralized, when they've all settled down, what remains in that tranquility is nothing but the clean water that is there in the pond. That is always there. Tranquility is always there. It is only it has gotten, it's so-called disturbed because of the muddy waters, which is of the ragadveshas. Which is why the main, um, the purpose of karma yoga is to neutralize ragadveshas. And a karma yogi is a mumukshu. He is not an armchair viveki. He is using his viveka in the right way, sincerely, with that sincerity. A tranquil mind means that knowledge is not far away. Does mere tranquility destroy all forms of dukkha? No. Destruction of all dukkhas can only happen when there is self knowledge. See, just by being, that is why it is said it's not just simple samatva. Simple samatva anyone can get. But you require self knowledge for it to remove, for destruction of all dukkhas to happen. Dukkhas go away from for the person who has a tranquil mind, because the knowledge for such a person is not far away. We are talking about a sthita prajna here. This knowledge, the subject matter of which is Atma, self knowledge, is steady, and like space, it just stays. It does not move. The earth, air, and everything else moves, whereas space is always steady. This is what is meant by Gurudev's beautiful poem, "Do not move an inch." Do not move an inch from your true self. It is nothing but tranquility, joy, and happiness. Similarly, the mind of a person with self knowledge stays. And because the knowledge stays, the mind no longer causes any problem. The knowledge stays because there is nothing to oppose or inhibit it. This means that the very person stays in the form of knowledge. Absolute knowledge. If you remember one of the definitions of Bhagavan, the six wealths that Bhagavan has, Bhaga is wealth. One of them is absolute knowledge, absolute dispassion, absolute Aishwarya. The mind of such a person becomes a useful instrument. Because the mind is tranquil, it no longer causes trouble. So the mind is in his control now, or the sense organs are in his control, the senses are in his control. Unlike what happens in the, as described in verses 62-63, where dhyayato vishayan pumsah sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodhopi jayate krodhat bhavati sammohah sammoha smriti vibhramah smriti bhramshat buddhinashah buddhinashat pranashyati. So there the mind is totally out of control. Once the person keeps dwelling on objects, develops an attachment, affection for them, and then desire is born. Once that desire is born to experience and possess, any obstruction to that desire causes anger. And when anger sprouts, destruction is there. Destruction is in the form of sammoha, delusion, and then smriti vibhrama. He loses his memory of all the self, the knowledge that he's gained thus far. Whereas for this person who is tranquil minded, that knowledge stays. That self knowledge stays like space because there is nothing to oppose or inhibit it. This means that the very person stays in the form of knowledge. The mind of such a person becomes a useful instrument because the mind is tranquil. It no longer causes trouble. To gain tranquility, you have to take care of your raga dveshas. Whatever is required is what you have to follow, whether it is karma yoga or something else. Only when tranquility is there does the knowledge stay. This means that the knowledge becomes clear, having been freed from all vagueness and doubts. Otherwise, you will always doubt your own knowledge. You will say things like, with this kind of mind, how can I say that I know? The mind itself creates all kinds of doubts, which is the problem. Samshayatma vinashyati. So the mind becomes steady. The mind has to gain the tranquility that is the basis for self knowledge. And to do this, it has to free itself from the ragadveshas. Then all the dukkhas go away because the knowledge stays. Tranquility is the condition that frees one's knowledge from all obstructions. And because of that knowledge, all forms of sorrow are gone, and the person is said to have gained moksha. Chapter 250:12. What are you talking about, Dr. Mara? Referring to?
No, that karma sukhaushalam yas. I thought
Ha, correct.
the verse number 50. Yeah, that just wanted to, that description actually gives all the information. Even the, I don't remember the sixth chapter, but the verse number is given in that description text in the commentary.
I think it's called dukkha samyoga viyoga. That dissociation from the association from pain.
Yeah.
Dukkha samyoga viyoga. Viyoga is dissociation.
Mm.
Samyoga is association with pain. Dukkha. So
Mhm.
that is the third definition of karma yoga.
Right.
Dissociation from the association of pain.
Mm. I was thinking which verse we read the Kaushalam. So I
I think
found
51, 52. Those it's soon after the
two Karmajam Buddhiyukta.
Hariom, this Sanyog Viyog shloka is also chapter 6, verse 23.
Can you chant that verse, Bela, and welcome
Yeah.
back? Yeah.
Tam vidya dukha sanyoga viyogam yoga sannitam sanishayena yoktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa. Let it be known the severance from the union with pain is yoga. This yoga should be practiced with determination and with a mind steady and undespairing.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you. See that developing that steadiness in this knowledge is the goal. So for that to happen, the first step is to have that tranquil mind, which is what we're talking about antakarana shuddhi. They're all synonymous now, no? When you look at it from a broad perspective, antakarana shuddhi,
Tranquil
antakarana,
mind. Yeah.
yeah, this prasanna cheta, prasada buddhi, all these are the same. They cause that they are nothing but that tranquil mind. See, only when the waters of the lake are clean and still can you see the reflection of the sun or the moon in it. Of the moon, sun, you can't see the reflection. In a still pond, of course, you can see the reflection of the sun as well. So, for the self knowledge to take place, you require that tranquility, which is what even Patanjali says in what is yoga? Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha and the five types of vrittis. So they're all different uh, ways of approaching the same topic. And the topic is moksha. The topic is freedom from this samsara. And how can we get this freedom unless we are exposed to this knowledge? You may have viveka. You must have viveka. That will be the first step. That's why the four pillars of knowledge viveka, vairagya, shamadhi, shat sampatti, and mumukshutva.
Dr. Mara, this Yogastha Kuru Karmani is in chapter 2, shloka 48.
Ah,
Yogastha Kuru Karmani Sangam Tektva Dhananjaya Siddha Siddho Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate.
yes.
Both Samatvam Yoga Uchyate also the same. Shloka 48.
So,
Hariom Brahmaraji.
yes.
This all when I'm thinking about, like, it happens because we associate all the time ourselves with the body. So is it that when we disassociate with the body, the pain automatically goes away? The main cause is all the time we are conditioned that I am this body, and the same goes with the conditioning with the others also. So, like, when I think of my people, my family, like that, because it is a constant conditioning and that causes the pain or joy, whatever, both the feelings. I put it as Swamiji very beautifully said, all pains are same sorrow. I mean, whether it is caused by loss of a person or a loss of your any materialistic thing.
Mhm.
So it happens constantly. Is it because we continuously associate ourselves with the physical body?
But which is true. But then sorrow, dukkha, we've seen earlier, is not just the pain. It's not just the perception of pain. That will continue as long as the senses touch the are in contact with sense objects. You will experience pairs of opposites, but it is a
Mm.
mindset that needs a change. That complaining, converting that pain into a complaint. Oh, poor me, I'm the one suffering. Which
Mm.
is true. What you said is very right, that you identify yourself with the body, mind, senses, and therefore you are
Suffering.
suffering. See,
Mm.
earlier we saw that when the person has a headache, he has a headache. But if that headache becomes such a complaint that it's not only his head, everything else hurts, not only for him, it becomes a pain for everybody else outside of him.
Mm.
So if the headache is just taken as a headache and you do whatever is required and let it be, then that your pain is inevitable but suffering is optional. But we convert that very soon, that pain is transformed into sorrow, into a complaining mind,
Mm.
because you are still in the hold of raga dvesha. You don't like to have a headache, you don't like to be in a situation where you've lost something, but the fact remains that you have a headache. So what is the key there? Acceptance.
Mm.
Accepting it and forbearing it. Tam stitikshasva. Forbear it. And
Yeah,
then
beautiful.
what can help? What can help? This is what Gita says, no? Rather than meditate upon your problems from the outside world, meditate upon the pratyagatma. And in what are the six different ways you can meditate upon the atma, which Gurudev also so beautifully mentioned in our in the on New Year's Eve. He says, be a witness to all that is happening. Then you slowly develop that detachment. When you're a witness, you're only seeing like you're watching a movie. It is that you identify yourself with your body, which you rightly pointed out. You so that identification is so deep rooted that you're not able to detach yourself. But with these practices, meditation, abhyasa, again and again, again and again.
And with Sudarshan Kriya, what happens? Each and every cell is rejuvenated, and you are in that space where you don't identify with your body. When you lie down, no, you are in that space, and that is what is the Sudarshan Kriya does. So you dissociate it with the body itself, and that is what is the happiness. And that is through the breath, that is physical, and grace of the Guru. Thank you.
Oh, we've already reached time, 6 o'clock. So we'll stop here. We'll see the next verse tomorrow. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्. For the one who is not tranquil, there is no knowledge. For the one who is not tranquil, there is no contemplation. And for the one who is not contemplative, there is no peace. For the one who has no peace, how can there be happiness? So Krishna has shown what it takes to have this tranquility. And now he's saying if a person is not tranquil, there is no way he's going to have self knowledge. And then there is no self knowledge. He's not contemplative. How can there be happiness? So we'll do verse 66 tomorrow. Anyone wants to share anything before we close? So whatever Gurudev says, he just gives us these beautiful couplets and sentences. He says, if you can handle the mind, you can handle the world. It's all about mind management. It's all about mind, keeping your mind together. And the skill of Karma Yoga is, while living in this world of objects, keeping your mind together, doing what is required to be done, and taking every result with that prasada buddhi. When you have prasada buddhi, you have a prasanna chetasaha, prasanna cheta. We close here. Om loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om tat sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. Acceptance is such an important practice.
Meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Accept those parts of the body where you feel a tension. The other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.